When neighborhoods outsource policing, who decides what's safe and who answers if things go wrong? I'm Charles Blaine, and this is Texas Tomorrow. In neighborhoods from Houston to Dallas, public safety is quietly moving behind paywalls. Gated communities hire private patrols. Entertainment districts like Deep Ellum rely on community-funded agents. The Deep Ellum Foundation is paying $2 million for private security. And in parts of Austin, private EMS companies serve residents who don't trust city response times. But why? Why is this a problem? Well, it's because trust in local law enforcement is crumbling. Well, not so much trust in local law enforcement as much as trust in local government as a whole. Too many residents report delayed response times, dropped investigations, or ignored calls, and officers pulling back from low-level crime because they know it's not going to be processed at a local DA. When that trust breaks, people turn to alternative solutions. No questions asked. There are roughly twice as many security guards employed in the United States today than there were 20 years ago, according to the Security Industry Association. And though the nation's population has only grown 16% over that same period, by 2021, there were about 2 police officers, but 3.1 security guards for every 1,000 civilians. But here's the problem. Security guards can be a helpful extra pair of eyes, but they aren't equipped to stop crimes, and it can be dangerous if they try. There's little concrete research on whether or not security guards are effective at actually reducing crime. And there's the governance issue because private security isn't necessarily accountable to voters in the same way. There's no police chief to summon. There's no public records process, no civilian review board. Now, you might be able to get some of this stuff through the contracts, but it's going to be much more difficult than if you're just going through your local public safety department. And courts have ruled that private officers aren't always bound by the same constitutional standards as public police. That's a governance gap, not an oversight. So they're a good supplement, but not a replacement. The discipline records, transparency, oversight that you would typically get isn't as available. It's a warning that privatized safety can sidestep governance. So ask this, is your city redirecting tax money into private contracts rather than public staffing? And if so, how transparent is the process in the contracts? Are officers being reassigned while firms fill the gaps? Is there any transparency into who hires, trains, or disciplines these officers? Well, not officers, but patrollers. Because once policing becomes a contract, not a community service, citizens lose their seat at the table. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Texas Tomorrow. Please like, share, comment, and let us know what's going on in your neighborhood because we'd love to talk about it.